All right, we have Mandeep Chauhan.
Good evening. Tonight I will be making a recommendation to authorize Public Works Director to sign a funding agreement and to give authorization to Public Works Department staff to move forward with the water meter replacement project. A small background. The City Council authorized staff to file an application for the state revolving fund, low interest / grant funding back in January 2017 for the water meter replacement project. And that application have been approved. That have been approved with total $8 million cost. The funding terms are $4 million will be principal forgiveness out of the $8 million. So we will be responsible paying for only $4 million at 1.8% interest rate over 10-year period. And another condition for that application is that we will be replacing the water meter heads with the cellular read heads. So the water meter and the heads are on your left side here. So the meters have two components. One is the meter body. I'm also going to turn to the picture here. So the same thing, we have the picture, the meter body itself, and then the meter head and the transmitter together.
I think we're good.
So the meter, so the meter reads the reading how much water is being consumed, and the meter head transmits the data from the meter through two options, either a radio read network or through a cellular network. So currently, all of our meters are radio read, means the city staff drives through some specific routes throughout the city and then collect the data. Whereas the cellular heads, we don't need to drive throughout the city. All the data gets transmitted through a cellular tower, and we can download, and it also becomes accessible through an smartphone application. So basically we have the meter heads comes with the battery. The battery's life is approximately 10 years, and the meter body lasts about 15 to 20 years. So most of our meter heads have been in service for over 10 years. They need replacement now. And we are expecting additional 10 years from the water meter bodies itself. So in order to replace the water meter heads, we have two choices, either to go with in-kind radio read meters or to go with the cellular read heads. So option number 2, which is the cellular read heads, is the only one eligible for this grant and low interest opportunity. And 2017, our existing CIP budget identifies this project, and this project has been identified as priority project in 2016 rate study and has been approved, and there will be no additional cost to the ratepayers to move this project forward. So this is the planning level cost estimates of the two options. Option 1 is to replace with the in-kind meter heads, about $4.3 million, no grant, and we have to go with a conventional loan for that. The total cost to the city would be, with the loan principal and interest, would be $5.2 million. Option 2, which is eligible for the grant and that has been approved, the total cost to the city would be about $4.4 million for the next 10 years. So option 2 will have about $1.25 million savings over the next 10 years. And the breakdown is provided here, about $300,000 from the construction savings, $450,000 on labor, plus our overheads, and then additional $500,000 on the interest rate. So this, the meter provides application on the smart devices, the smartphones, etc. And customers can get a real-time data on them, and they can see, and they can probably can also set, not probably, they will be able to set their alarms on their phones if there is any leak or something going on, so that, so the real purpose, why the state is providing the grant opportunity is to save water, conserve water. And it also helps the city to see where the water leaks are, and then we can go and fix them. So again, this is the picture of the water meter and water meter body and head and the transmitter. So basically the meter takes the readings, and then the head and the transmitter sends the data over to a cloud-based system, which will be downloadable to the city computers and also have access to the customers. And it also provides the analysis to the customers, how they can compare their recent uses, 7-day uses, or the monthly uses, how they're doing on it. So with that, I would move towards a recommendation that City Council approves the agreement called the Construction Installment Agreement, and authorize the Public Works Director to sign on behalf of the city the agreement, and also direct the Public Works Department to move forward with the development of the water meter replacement project. And I would like to point one thing out in the staff report, which has been uploaded on the website, has an agreement with the 20-year loan term that was redlined on the staff report, and the staff put a memo this evening to the council for consideration that agreement has been replaced with a 10-year loan term. Mm-hmm. So the only difference is the loan term from 20 years to 10 years. And the staff report that was prepared call out only 10 years. So any question, I will be happy to answer.
Through the mayor?
Bring it back to the council. Yeah.
Yes. Of course, this is the best case scenario, better than we even thought we would get when we approved this in 2017. This is fantastic for replacing all of them instead of so many per year, and using staff to do the replacement. But this is going to be a monumental task to get out there and do that. So for the public's knowledge, who is going to be doing this, since it's going to be more than really our staff can handle in the work? So how is this going to get done?
Yeah, the next steps will be that we will be hiring a consultant to develop the project plans and specifications, which will go through a competitive bid process to hire a consultant, hire a contractor, and then we will specify a time, maybe 3 months or 6 months, for the contractor to swap the meter heads throughout the city. And that will also include we are looking at about swapping all the heads, which includes about 2,000 meter bodies itself, depending on how the meter bodies test itself. Mm-hmm. So now, with the council authorization, staff will move forward to develop the project plans and specifications, and and the staff will return back to the council for authorization for competitive bids. And at that time, we will advertise the project for competitive bids and get the low responsible bidder. We'll make recommendation to award the contract to that contractor, and that contractor will get the whole thing done. So we are hoping to get the entire project completed within by the end of 2019.
So basically, It'll be freeing up our public works staff from having to do this, and they'll be able to handle all the the backlog. There's always something for them to do. As Diana has said in the past, there's more than enough to do. And so it'll free them up. Not only is it a savings in the long run in cost to the city and the citizens, it's going to make sure that our staff can continue doing other projects instead of being focused on this. So just wanted the public to know that this is actually turning out much better than we could have imagined, and I'm very pleased with that. So
Through the
Great,
mayor.
thank you. Yes.
Just a couple of comments. Mandeep, first, good work on this. Again, far better than what I think we had all anticipated previously. So your diligent effort on this is definitely noticed by this council. The app part to this, we're going to have to probably take some time for a complaint from my neighbor. Because his yard won't be getting a flood irrigation about 2-3 times a week if that app has alerts that certain people in my house might know that they left the water on out back. So that would be one of those helpful pieces. But also for the public, I just returned on Saturday from down in Tecate, Mexico, which is a border town. And in all of their lack of infrastructure, what they do have at every residence and where I was, or the kids that I had down there building homes, we're building about 10 miles south of Tecate proper, but it's still within the Tecate city limits. And it's a rather rural location. All of those homes have water meters on them, even down in that city. They don't have sewer, at all, but they have water and it's metered. And as I was looking at the type of meters, it's not cellular based, but they do have the radio ability to be able to read those. So it is the way that not only here in the United States, not only in California, but it's kind of the way of the world that we have to go with water usage and being able to manage it a little bit better.
Thank you for that comment. Any other comments?
To the mayor. Hey, Mandeep, I know the standard issue meter for single-family dwellings is 1 inch. We have quite a few 3/4 inch meters out there throughout the years. When we do this transformation, will they be all upgraded to 1 inch, or are we still going to have 3/4 1 inch?
Correct. All of the meters, well, we are not going to change the meter sizes. Through this project, we are going to change the meter heads to cellular meter heads, and the meters that we are going to replace will be the meters of the same size, unless we need to change the meter size for any other reasons.
Okay, so the 3/4 inch meters that's been in the ground, they're just going to change them out, put another 3/4 inch meter in the ground.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I just wonder if it was all going to be the same in the future. I mean, everybody would be the same. That was my question. So we're still going to have 3/4 inch meters out there from our earlier days. Okay. And then we're going to be making payments for 10 years. And at the end of 10 years with this new system, are we going to be able to just hopefully just change the meter heads out 10 years from now, or not have to change the whole body and head out? You're guessing 10 years from now, but with technology, are they giving us good hopes that 10 years from now it's just going to be the meter heads?
The meter heads, they provide us a meter head warranty, 100% replacement for the parts or the meter head for first 10 years. Then from 10 to 20 years, the warranty is a prorated basis. So for example, if the meter failed at 12th year, then we have to pay some portion price for the meter head, and that also makes sense.
Okay.
So,
Great. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, excuse me. I just wanted to expand on what Mandeep was talking about with respect to the minor changes to the agreement. So what we're doing is we're approving the agreement that the state sent us just this past Friday that was in response to our request that we shorten the term from 20 to 10 years. So the changes include that Exhibit C that Mandeep sent to the council, that's the payment schedule, And there were two other minor changes, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mandeep. The cover page changes the term, the end of the term from 2039 to 2029. Then Exhibit B, number 5, the term of the agreement is shortened from 2039 to 2029, reflecting the shortened 20 years to 10 years. I just want to get that on the record because I'm going to be asked to issue an opinion letter on this, so I want to make sure everything is absolutely correct. Is what I stated correct, Mandeep?
Is that,
Am I wrong?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
With that, I'll move this item with the changes so stated by Tim Hayes.
Councilmember, we still have
Oh, we have
a
card?
card.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So before we move forward, we do have a speaker card from Dale McDowell.
Mayor Dibble, council members, my name's Dale McDowell, and I'd like to make a couple of comments about this meter change situation. These are figures that came from the staff report. It was stated it's going to be $8 million, and it's going to cost the city going to be reimbursed $4 million. So we got 4.4, somewhere in that range. But the heads for 17,000 meters is $6,730 or $6,732. Complete for, I think it was 2,000 that we're going to need, and that's 1,990,000. Interest, I just made a guess at 200,000. That comes up to a total of $8,922. So that's our share. $4 million, so that puts us almost at $5 million right there for our share. That's not even putting anything in the ground yet. And I don't know whether it's going to be free installation. I mean, they're not going to charge the city anything for putting them in. I don't think so, but we're going to have to foot that bill also. And then a 10-year lifespan for the reader head, for the cellular head, 10 years, so at come that point, there's another $7,524,000 that we're going to be subject to. So he says 10 years, maybe it'll go 12. I mean, you don't really know how long it's going to go. But that's kind of what you have on the projection. So my comment on it, the city can't afford it. That's a total cost of like $16 million in 10 years. That doesn't make any sense. Operate the meters we have now and continue on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mandeep, if you have any clarification other than that.
Okay, the cost estimate that is in the staff report of total $8 million, that includes all installation, parts, and labor, complete project. So out of that $8 million, $4 million is principal forgiveness, and we are only responsible paying for $4 million at low interest loan. In 10 years, regardless, either we go with option 1 or option 2, we will have to replace the meter heads no matter what. So that's unavoidable cost. Every 10 years to replace the meter heads, and we are hoping, based on discussion with the vendors who provide the meter heads, that they're improving the technology, and the meter heads hopefully will last longer than 10 years. Anything else?
Okay, thank you very
thank
much.
you.
Just wanted to make sure that we clarified that. And we'll bring it back to council for motion. Any further discussion?
So just so I think so the public is aware, what's the current failure rate of our meter system that's out there?
So right now, the meters, of course, the technology improves over time. The meter heads that have been installed 10 years ago, they're starting to fail. So today, as of today, we are only expecting 10 years life. But based on the discussion with the vendors, and they're making some improvements to that, so hopefully they're hoping that it will last longer than that. So let's say that if we have to replace the meter heads after 12 years, then we will not be paying the full price of the meter heads. It comes with a prorated warranty. And I have, for example, yeah, correct.
So if I understand the question correctly, you're asking how many meter heads have failed within the last few months. So within the last about 6 months, we've had 1,300 meter heads fail because the batteries have died. And so how do we find that? When we go out and do the meter reading, we don't get a reading. And so then our customer field reps go out and check the meters and find out that the batteries have died. And then our public works crews go out and replace those heads. So we're starting to see the die-off rate increase because the batteries have reached their useful life.
Through all of the iterations of meters, and I'm sure that Councilmember Cardoza can probably weigh in on this also, is it in the past, it was flip a lid and read a number. That was way back.
Right.
And then we went to a walking process where they would get out
Touch read.
and do a touch read. And that was fairly well labor intensive to be able to cover the entire city. As the city's grown, and we've gone into these other types of technology, we've reduced the need for personnel actually out there physically touching or moving about. They just drive down the road and pick up the readings.
Correct.
Moving forward into the cellular technology, there will be no more driving down the road to do these readings unless there's a failure.
Correct.
It seems pretty straightforward on being able to provide a higher level of service, certainly with the app that's out there. Jokingly, I said about flooding in the neighbor's yard, but it certainly will help folks manage their water usage to a higher degree.
Correct. And we do have some cellular meters in service today. New development, when they come in and pay for their water meter, they're getting a cellular meter. And then we've also had some customers come in and pay to request to upgrade their meter to cellular meter. And so with those customers, we've received positive feedback related to the ability for them to go online and see their usage.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Just to follow up on that. So what we're talking about really replacing on the meters now would be just the meter itself if it gives out, because there's replacement battery, or is there a battery inside here also that would fail? What are you talking about now? Because I just undid this right off of the and so you're able to disconnect this now, and I see little batteries in there and circuitry and little blue light. So what are they talking about failure?
Correct. The thing that you have in your hand is the one
that keeps failing now, that you have to replace the whole meter currently, but now with this system you would check it out. If it's not this, you just replace this. Is that correct?
Correct. Right now we are looking to replace the heads, the thing that has the battery in it, not the meter body.
Okay, just the head.
Correct.
And that's with the new ones, correct?
Correct.
The old ones, it's the whole thing, correct?
No,
Is it still the same thing?
the meter body is going to stay the same. We are not going to do anything with the meter body.
And they're to last how many years?
15 to 20 years.
15 to 20 years. Because I know you were saying this earlier, and so I was wanting to clarify that there is a difference between the 15, 20 year and the 10 year.
Correct.
And this is prorated out to 20.
Correct.
Okay.
And also the meter bodies, the typical life is 15 to 20 years.
They're lithium quality batteries. in there.
Based on the discussion with the vendors, they have seen some meter bodies lasting 25 to 30 years.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to see long life from the meter bodies itself.
Okay, any other questions, comments while he fiddles with that?
Yeah, Stan, through
You got the two
technology.
arrows there, and it's not wanting to go in.
Stan, through technology, the battery used to be on the head. Now it's moved in, so all they have to do is, that's all, through technology.
Yeah.
Okay. You still want to make your motion, sir?
Yes, my motion stands.
I'll second it.
All right, we have
I
a
don't want to go in. I don't
motion
want to
and
break
a
it.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Great. Okay. Now you can play with the toy over there. Yeah.